Good evening, friends. Today we have a very special guest with us. It's Her name is Shreyasta Sammal, and I'm sure, very familiar with her. She's been on our show quite a few times. She's a research engineer at Airbus, previously worked in the cognitive domain, and managed people and safety research for automotive. And she says that in her free time, she likes to focus on healthy mindsets and building an entrepreneurial energy to all age groups. And beyond that, also, I know Shreyasta very well, and she's a very warm person with, a million ideas in her head and multitasking all the time. So, welcome, Shreyasta.
Hello, Meena ma'am. Thank you for calling me again, and very happy to meet the audience. And today is a very special day. Today is 14th June, and we got connected because of SSR, and
Absolutely.
the fight for justice is still on. And I'm so glad that we are all connected because of this great person. I wish he was alive. Yes, and I'm really praying for justice for him, and I feel like he's somehow, like, for me also a mentor
Yeah.
because he was so multi-talented, and I used to kind of think, how can a person do so much? And and with time and practice, I see that yeah, it is possible. So yeah, thank you for the wonderful introduction, also,
Yeah.
ma'am.
In fact, friends, after this session with Shreyasta, we will be doing a tribute to SSR, and you can join us live. We'll send you the link, and you can pass your message to the people who are listening to you, because it's important that they remember that we haven't forgotten and we are continuing to fight to get justice. Yeah. So back to you, Shreyas. Now, Shreyas, there are some things that are worrying the modern man. Okay, many things, including jobs being people being fired left and right. People losing their everything. Finance and bank this thing, everything. And what is happening is in this world of high tech, everything seems to be very overwhelming. For example,
Yes.
robots have taken over manufacturing jobs and autonomous cars and delivery trucks, and you have drones in warfare, and also but also delivering aid in disaster, webcams on our porches, surveillance capitalism, and our, our privacy being open to all, disinformation on social media, doxing and trolls, cryptocurrencies, scams and hackers, constant notifications, augmented and virtual reality, genetics sequencing, so many things that we are overwhelmed with all the technology that is coming our way. And we don't know whether tomorrow our job holds good at all, because AI seems to be working on a such a fast pace that we don't know whether it's a boon or a bane. you know so it's on in this regard that Shreyasta said she will discuss this with us, and because she's been seeing it based in Germany, she's been seeing a lot of this, and I'll just leave it to her to explain it to you. Back.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. These are the exact topics that actually, in the background, used a lot of national security people used to do. Like, if you would ask, this is the tasks of what military has been doing a long time. And earlier, it was like, surveillance and all was limited to a very small group of people, like on your enemies. Or if it's only a task based thing, okay, there is a national event, like, we have our Independence Day, Republic Day, all these things. Now, what happens is that, ma'am, whenever technology is made, okay, so we have certain goals: speed, accuracy, usability. Right now, we are also connected via tech. So it's like so amazing that you're in one part of the world, I'm in another, but we are connected via Wi-Fi and all. So many, there are n number of layers between whatever is happening. So the promise of technology is like, oh wow, it's gonna change the world. Definitely, it's changing the world, but with it comes with its, let's say, side effects. These are the digital side effects which no one is talking about, no one is warning you about. And what people used to face in my late 50s and 60s, which is fine because at that time, by 50s and 60s, ageism has happened. You have worked from your 30s, let's say, late 20s, 30s, say people start working, no matter what they are doing or whatever it is. But ma'am, nowadays people graduates are not getting jobs. Young IIT graduates, and they're super intelligent. And our previous generation, ma'am, they have faced war. Our grandparents, great grandparents, they have faced fought for the independence, so they know what the boom and bust was, what the freedom struggle was. Then came your generation, my parents' generation, which worked very very hard, okay, but they had a stable life. And now is this generation that is not. It's even though they are intelligent, see, people are avoiding very difficult tasks. They're even dangerous. Now there is more awareness and more rules and policies. But everything, any task needs eyes. So that's
Yeah.
where cameras
In,
come in.
yeah. This is what I want to ask you, Shreyasta. See, humans have become so skilled at combining technologies in novel ways, such as the steam engine, teleport, all that happened. Then digital technology came in, and again, now people are going even faster, as we said, into artificial intelligence as well. Now, but somewhere in the speed, you know, it seems as though you've created a Frankenstein,
Yes,
you
it
know,
is true,
and
ma'am. It is
yeah,
Frankenstein.
and
Yeah.
you really don't know how to react. So some people take it in the positive light, some people are literally scared because their jobs are going to go.
Ma'am, the problem is, for example, I'm in a social welfare state. So 42% of my salary, or if in some countries I have heard even 55% of their salary is gone. And it is for the one third is for your old age, one third is for your medical insurance, which covers, let's say, 90% of things. It still doesn't cover 10%. Okay. And then there is the one third that when you lose a job, so it helps you in, okay, you are again dependent on this system and you get. So you might, everyone might have heard of this universal income system, which was 4 to 5 years ago, very well known thing by some well known professors from who are of Asian origin. In America, they were really talking about it because, see, a good society, a democratic society, will always protect its citizens.
Citizens.
So, but other places like, the Middle East or even our Asian countries, we don't have universal income. I mean, look at the 5 lakh scheme or 1 lakh scheme by Congress. People are now, women are going back and asking, Mera paisa kahan hai hi nahi paisa. So fooling. So this is the pro and cons. So you might have the cards, you might have the promise, but when the time comes to pay, it's gone. What will you do? How will you safeguard yourself? So this is the point of, so we as people, we really need to use our Right to Information Act, and we need to urge the broadcast ministry, all of them, to give transparent information what is happening. I mean, you're creating so many institutes, you're taking hefty sums for ma'am, a graduation degree from a premier college. Now, getting into IIT stuff. So there was mushrooming of private institutes. So now these private institutes, they take money for everything. So it's like whole generation, and when this generation is coming out, there is no job. And if you're at my age, they're already saying, you at this age you used to have 10 years of experience, and at some other age they're like, oh, you're too old for that. So it's just management tactics,
Yeah.
but it affects us psychologically so much, right? We need some control of our life. Yeah, yes ma'am, please ask
Yeah.
next.
So how does it affect you psychologically? Tell me that bit, because I know you've been undergoing going the stress that goes with these things. Yes.
Ma'am, definitely in the AI, as I was in the automotive domain, when I came here in Germany, so this is the bread and butter. So if when you are in this domain, the word on the street was, your future is secure. You don't have to worry. Just keep on working. And ma'am, it is really hard work. It because here they don't distinguish whether you're a man, woman, or a third gender. You have to give in the number of hours, and at a certain time there is always pressure to show the results, and you cannot force R&D. you know in R&D, you know what you're doing, but you still don't know when you will get the result, what it's going to be like, and how it will be presented. Okay, so it happens with us also. You think you are writing a patent and all, thousands of other people will come to claim it, or they will just steal your idea, and you cannot do anything as an individual because you don't have the mighty powers. And that's when I personally also understood that you need a godfather kind of thing here. But here, one is fine without it in a socialistic system that I am in. So, but ma'am, I do see that. It did affect me quite a lot. Self confidence was the biggest drain, and then the self doubt comes. Oh, I'm still not good enough. So these doubts, when I know that it's not me, it's the system, and then the corona, and then people not having the purchasing power. So, what is the point? Then the question comes, why are we creating so many gadgets and they're expensive? They're expensive for the users also. The expenses, they don't stop, and it affects you psychologically when you're not able to pay your bills or your rent or your food. So for these things, ma'am, I always, like, I have done many 2 to 3 types of things to balance myself. I did start investing small, like, first thing when I do is I reward myself, like, a small investment for my safety, like build a safety net, 6 months to 1 year. That is the first thing I am doing, so at least financially I'm okay. Second thing that I've done is, I think yesterday Dr. Vikram had come and he was talking about gut health. I really fixed my gut health. So if you will compare from previous images, also, like, yeah, I'm more. I have a little bit more agility and more strength, and I'm more confident also now. I really worked on it, and I buy different foods. I'm eating more plant based now, eating direct sprouts, and also it is helping me overcome the negative thoughts. And ma'am, I rarely get time, but I have the 15 minutes for, like Dr. Ganesh had said, no, little listening to Gayatri Mantra or some chants of my Kuldevi, or when the special days are there, I have this spiritual practice. So these three things have really helped me. So I'm taking care of my body, something for my soul, and something for the bank. And I also make sure that I meet different age group people. I do different activities. Some days I just don't do anything, and I don't like, because when you are working in a hyper paced environment and you're always productive doing something, and sometimes you have to take the permission, okay, it's okay, just take a break, 3 4 days, just do nothing, it's okay. So I'm learning. That's a lesson for me, that I'm learning to, it's okay,
Relax.
learn. It's okay if it's yeah, relax basically. So
So
yeah,
one thing
this is
I wanted to
yeah,
ask you, Shreyasta, is that see when you're in working in a company like Airbus or a big company, international company, you're dealing with a lot of different personalities, and some may not be so friendly, some may be rather hostile also, and yet
yeah.
you have to all go in unison. So how does that happen?
And that's very tough. I'm really telling you, especially international mindsets are very different. Different country, different time zones, different mentality, different language. So it's very hard. And I'm a person, once I'm in the computer, I kind of zone off from everything. I really have to take out myself. But in this company, it's more face value, who you're talking to, what you're doing. Then you have, sometimes it happens that there is personality clash, and I don't know actually how to handle. So I'm learning this in my day to day life, conflict management, or in my previous domain it was not that bad. So I try to, I still, even if it's not my fault, I still say sorry, and I just don't, let my ego come in. But sometimes when I see that someone is really overstepping, we have a speak up culture. So I do speak up. I speak it up in front of my bosses. And I said, see, this behavior is not okay. So you cannot judge me because you have not seen my work. Luckily, I work in a very digital thing. So I have proof, see the number of hours I've put in. So, but yeah, ma'am, this is something I learned to speak up. Usually I wouldn't. I would just, like others, or from childhood, I just forget it. But nowadays I do say, see, this, if you have a certain anger, even it's, yeah, I also am stressed from the day to day thing, and I also get angry. Okay, so there is a way to, I try to talk to them, like I try to take 10 15 minutes with people, and I say, see, I'm so sorry, I'm really trying to better myself, give me some feedback. But I also give them back feedback. See, this is something unacceptable for me. If you want to talk to me, this is the format. So I have started drawing the line, and yeah, and I also apologize to the others, even if I think it's not my fault. So this is one of the way that is working out. I hope it's it's not a
Yeah,
generic thing,
yeah.
but it's one step forward, ma'am. Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you deal with losses? And I'm talking not only about professional losses, but as well as personal. See, what happens is a young woman like you, with a single status, working in a country like Germany is not very easy. You'll have to
Yes.
face a lot of things. There are a lot of rules you need to follow. It's not just like India, where things are more easy. So
Yeah.
when you work in this manner, everything from taking a house, renting a house,
Yeah.
to furnishing it and then traveling to your workplace, everything can be a problem. So
The
even
task.
even perhaps communication with your own family could be a problem. So how do you face these personal and professional losses?
Ma'am, because of media, I try to send them voice notes with my parents. I definitely on the weekend take out some time to at least have a deep conversation, though it's not always possible because my family is also, they're young people, old people. So, but I definitely make sure at least once in a month all of us are talking, or at least the message is passed. Time to time on the birthdays, I make sure gifts I'm sent. Like I am the oldest, so I send something for my younger siblings, guide them, send them a hi, send them a joke or a gif. Really, I'm learning the millennial way to do things, and it's one of the only ways to stay connected, because I have holidays once in a year. Then definitely I go home, spend time with them. Yeah, that's how I cope. Other than that, I do batch cooking, batch shopping. That's the only way to save time. That's, I think, everyone living abroad has to. My mom
Absolutely.
is not at all happy with this. Like, you should buy fresh fruits. And I'm like, have you looked at the weather? It's suddenly cold, it's suddenly hot, it's snowing, you never know. So you have to be like, you have to adopt the ant mentality. So I take inspiration from the ant. I store food, I work hard. Yeah, it's like that. I think I'm like an, I say, in German, you need to be an ant. That's it. Don't think left, right, follow the rules because you don't want to get into trouble. Yeah.
And another problem you would be most probably facing, being abroad, is that, see, you need to not only do one job, you need to do multiple jobs to keep yourself
Definitely.
financially secure. And it's not like in India. In India, you can ask a friend for some money, or a loan, or even the banks and all that. But in a country, that when you're abroad in a country like Germany, it's not easy. So you'll need to
Correct.
have multiple jobs, which would actually make you even more tired.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, I mean, I there was a phase when I was doing this because after the pandemic, I myself actually went into a shocking phase because multiple layoffs happened, even from big companies, good companies. I was in Volkswagen, and then in good research institutes, and suddenly the money for research and everything dried up. So despite we completing the projects, so it was very very hard because you put in so much personal time. And ma'am, I do have a small set of friends who do help me, or I help them back. You really have to form that inner circle of friends. But ma'am, how much will they give you, and for how long? That's also the question. I luckily I'm in this matter, I'm blessed, but still I make sure that I did these extra jobs so I can really pay off things. And ma'am, you don't always also get part-time jobs that easily. And but yeah, I think like if you try here, there is always the probability is much better. So yeah, and then I take off time also. Like maybe I just do these things for 4 to 5 months, not the complete 12 months, the part-time thing, because you need to rest.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Also, Shreyasta, you would have, had the experience where you met, friends of people who have lost their jobs, and they would have been in a state of panic because See, they
Yes.
plan so much ahead. Could you tell us someone's experience and how it was so terrible
Yes.
that they had to go back or whatever?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, a lot of people, unfortunately, you know what they did? They did a lot of illegal stuff, and then, ma'am, they are bright minds, good on paper, but they had to go back. They did something illegal job or black thing that they did. They just went off. Other things, ma'am, a lot of people had to do a second master's degree. I'm not kidding. There are many bright people, and a lot of times, they don't understand the German trick. So no one, like they say in Hindi, कोई दूध का धुला हुआ नहीं है. Don't think that if they're your professors or scientists, they are stealing your ideas, they are taking your work, and they are presenting it everywhere. In India, we have a Guru Pratha. But trust me, ma'am, I really learned it the hard way. With a white person, you need to be white. Always remember that. Personality analysis, cultural analysis. Ma'am, I worked in micro expressions. Ma'am, why they are studying micro expressions? So they can trick you into you signing up for more work for less money.
Mm.
And they say the brown people are the easiest ones, and I am not. Especially I see it with men. Men have a different kind of loyalty towards their brands. They will swear by it, by their cars and by their sports teams that they, you see it, ma'am, in cricket there and in football in this country. At the end of the day, ma'am, it is emotional control, and you really need to be psychologically strong. I really learned it the very hard way, and this is one thing I recommend everyone who is coming here or going anywhere, that don't give in. There is a certain leeway, yes, there, even I do, yes sir, no sir. I do also maintain, a thin line where, of course, I'm supporting my team. I'm being there for the big events, but I'm not saying yes for all the 10 things they're asking me to do. I say no to 3 to 4 things. So then this I felt, I came to know very later. Actually, Germans see this as a leadership skill. And I was actually, I got a salary hike because of that, and I did got better projects. So and these are the things people don't know until like years into their career, that it was their habit, and this yes sir culture, because here this society expects you to be independent, to present yourself independently. And when I go back home, my parents are like, tu chale jao. Don't do this here. People will hate, like, I'm very stern and like, go back. This, you have to be a little bit more nice and gentle. And then when my siblings told me just shut up, and I said okay, yeah, I need to switch, like, India, this German phase and India phase. But yes,
Yeah.
ma'am, here it's a lot of mind and hard work. It's both physical and mental, uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, task.
So I'll just ask you one more question and then we'll wind up because at eight
Yes, ma'am.
o'clock we are paying a tribute to SSR.
Yes.
So I'll go to the a question where you should see how do you overcome this social narrative and perception rising above such issues. How do you overcome that?
Ma'am,
You'll
I
you'll have
made,
to you'll have to make it brief.
yes, ma'am. Yes, yes. This is ma'am, very briefly. First of all, you should have a very clear communication with yourself. I write down things. I chop down things very well, and only if it is matching 70 to 80%, I go ahead with something. Because when that is happening, I know I'm in the. I have my compass. I have my guidance. I have my personality type mapped, and then I just go ahead according to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, ma'am.
Okay. So with this, we end the session. Thank you so much, Shreyasta, for this lovely conversation, and we'll continue this whenever we get the time. Thank you so much. Good night. Jai Hind
Well,
and Jai Shri Ram.
Jai Shri Ram.